Hello, it's Simon Sutton George from Tenerife Property Group, and today we're going to talk about the cost of running a property in Tenerife. I very often get asked how much it's going to cost to run my property here in Tenerife, so obviously a bit of an open-ended question really, because you've got to decide whether you're buying an apartment or a house or a large villa or even something out in the country. But if we take a sort of an average, let's say, so your water costs, utility water would be probably something around, let's say, €30 a month. That at the moment gets billed every 2 months, so you might say 30 a month, something like that. For an apartment you'd probably get away with 15 a month, but obviously the larger the property, and maybe if you've got a pool as well, that's going to cost you quite a bit more. Electric, again, obviously depending upon the size of the property. I mean, all of this is really going to be depending upon the size of the property that you choose to buy, but electric wise, probably again 30-40 a month, something like that. You also have a property tax here called IBI. So if you're English, or rather I should say British, you probably liken that to your rates, and that would depend again, oddly enough, on the property, the size of it, and also whereabouts it is as well in Tenerife, because each municipality will have its own sort of rating for the property as well. But if you're just think along the lines of maybe something like, say, 400, I mean it could even be 200, but if you just think along say the lines of, say, 350, 400 a year, that's your IBI, so that's your annual property tax. Then you'll have your so that's once a year around sort of May, June time. You'll also have to pay for your rubbish collection as well, again depending upon where you are, which municipality, but maybe €100 a year. That's normally paid twice a year, so once every 6 months for that. You've got your if you're not going to be resident here, not fiscally resident, then you'll have to pay your non-fiscally resident taxes, which again will depend on the actual property, but that could range around the sort of 300 or 400 per person that owns the property. So think about that as well. Not a massive saving if you think, oh, I'll just have it in one name. So not a massive saving, but just think about that anyway. It's about 300 or 400 euros a year if you're not going to be fiscally resident here in Spain. So we've got you've got telephone. Well, that would depend on the sort of service that you're going to get, whether or not you're going to go with the television as well. I think that could be got for at the moment anyway, about 35-40 euros a month. So you've got electric, water, rubbish collection, telephone we've talked about, your annual property tax, your IBI, and then your what I've just said there as well, your non-resident tax. So that's probably it. Now you might, if you're in a complex, obviously you're going to obviously pay your community fees as well. So that'll range depending upon which complex you're actually in. Depending upon, if they've got things like lifts and swimming pools, then obviously that will be reasonably expensive. They have tennis courts and things like that, that'll be even more expensive. But think along the lines again, about 120 or something like that per month, though that is every month. I think that's probably covered the majority of the running costs of a property here in Tenerife. So if you're thinking about buying a property here in Tenerife, then give me a shout. It's Simon Sutton George at Tenerife Property Group. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.